Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's time to continue yet another Season 4 character wishlist discussion. Joining me once again is Mir, and Mir, once again, how's it going?
Doing great, thanks.
You're always doing great, man. I wish I was the same. Anyways,
I wonder what that means.
Sorry. I just ask it at the beginning of every video. It's just amusing how you have to, almost come up with a different response every time. But it's always doing good, man. So today, guys, we're gonna be doing Fang. I know there's a lot of requests in our comment section. I know we're getting closer to most likely an announcement of Season 4, and we're trying to get as many characters done as we can. I know we're gonna start focusing on more very low tier characters, but we see your guys' comments. We're trying here. We're trying here. Fang is a character that I've been trying to learn myself recently, going through the hoops with him, and getting more of an understanding of this character, because not too many people understand how this character works. So I guess we can start off this video by saying that he was regarded as the weakest character in the game in Season 1. Do you agree?
Yeah, before DLC characters came out?
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else. Like, he was pretty darn weak. He also has, if not the worst, most uninspired V-Trigger in the game, in my opinion, V-Trigger 1. I think it's Garbo. What do you think, Mir?
Yeah, it's down there for sure. I mean, there's other really boring V-Triggers, like Kami's V-Trigger 1 or whatever, but this one doesn't do anything.
Yeah, this one literally doesn't do anything, and I joked around Arcade Edition that, he actually got a V-Trigger. He was the only character without a V-Trigger until Arcade Edition. It's pretty funny. On top of all these bad things we just said about Fang, he's also very unpopular as a character. Barely anyone plays him in ranked. We barely see him in tournaments. He's very unpopular.
Well, he's supposed to be the weirdo character, like
The weirdo
and that already, like, the design is already meant for people that want a character that's a little bit different, and that just makes it even more unpopular, unfortunately.
Well,
Like,
who's the
fact that it
weirdo
looks like
character in Street Fighter 4?
It looks like a what's it called? It looks like a Thin Man from XCOM or something, like an alien.
Who? What? I don't know.
Anyway,
I think DJ was the weird character in Street Fighter 4.
well, that's because he sucked.
Anyways, and Fang also mostly wins to this day because of matchup unfamiliarity. In general,
Yes.
they go hand in hand. In Season 1, notable names that played this character were Sonic Fox and Shen, of course. They gave him a good run, and Shen did okay with him, but he's rarely seen in tournaments to this very day.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
yeah.
the meme was basically interviewers asking Shen when he was gonna switch off of the character after every tournament.
That's a real thing. Every interview was the same for him. But you know what? Fang has received some buffs to this day. Some. But however, I feel like Fang is still looked on the same way as he always has been since Season 1. No one's really taken a second look at him. And because of that, he has received buffs. I feel like he's pretty underrated as a character right now. I feel like people that say that he's still one of the weakest characters hasn't really, stayed in touch with what he's been getting over the seasons.
Yeah.
Up to date.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so notable changes for Fang? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So moving on.
I got some buffs and some nerfs, but it's literally the most generic changes you could expect from a changelog,
Yes.
It's just, this move got 1 more plus frame, this move got 2 less frames of recovery, and some changes here and there, some numbers switched around, but it literally didn't get anything important, I guess.
Yeah.
Until he got, what was it, Arcade Edition? He got that change where V-Trigger 1, during V-Trigger 1, your V-skill has a hitbox.
Right.
It's like, whoa.
He has some of the most
biggest change.
boring patch notes I've seen for any character. I mean, some characters even have some interesting nerfs. This character gets nothing.
True.
So, I don't know. Mostly hurtbox and hitbox changes, small advantage changes, but Fang just seems similar to what he was in Season 1. And like I said, I'm not going to pretend to know everything about the character. I'm sure he's gotten a few extra new setups or combos, but it doesn't seem significant. The biggest change to Fang, like you said, Mir, was V-Trigger 1 getting a V-skill, hitbox, and him getting an actual V-Trigger 2 in general.
Yeah, also V-Trigger 1 at one point got the M. Bison treatment where you can do charge moves without charging. So that was also nice.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so let's get to it. Our wish list for Fang. Ultimately, you know, we want this character to actually be interesting and fun. I think that comes before anything else. Before just making this character stronger. We don't want this boring... A character that's boring or ununique be just really strong. Because he's not going to be pleasant to play against. He's not going to be pleasant to play. And he's not going to be pleasant for people to spectate. Right? We need this character needs a serious overhaul first. And in a different way than Sakura, where I was, you know, being melodramatic about her being so weak. I think Fang needs to be... He needs some spice. Like, give him some cool stuff. He's been through too many patches where it's too plain. So, I mean, it all has to do with this poison, but we'll get to that in a second. I wrote down in my notes here. First, playing Fang, I feel like he needs better light confirms, or a reliable one. Something that at least cancels into light Sotoja. That's the one where he goes forward mirror with the two hands forward and knocks you down.
Dash punches.
Yeah, so something like crouch and light kick, crouch and light punch, light Sotoja, or into the EX version too, or light punch, something like that would really, really help Fang. It's really silly where you have to go light punch and you're gonna cancel it into your coward crouch, into your heavy kick or whatever. He just doesn't have good light confirms. It's really bad.
Yeah, and like another thing that I would like to add on top of this we'll discuss it more later, but one of the biggest problems with Fang as a whole is the fact that he does no damage. Like, since he's so reliant on this, like the design is very reliant on the poison.
Yeah.
To do the damage for him, and they kind of wanted to make him like this hybrid zoner mix-up character, weirdo kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're just way too scared to give him a strong, poison effect. But everything else does no damage, and like if you have no light confirms, your lights do no damage. If you have specials that don't do damage, your combos do no damage. So like you basically it takes forever to kill anyone, and so many more guesses that you have to make, like so many more reads and good decisions, as opposed to someone that can kill you in 2 combos.
Right. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of what we want change for Fang, and I've been advocating this for a very long time, ever since Season 1, is make the poison on Fang not an afterthought for the opponent. They really need to rework this in any way possible. All we're asking is make the poison threatening, make the opponent not want to be poisoned, and make the opponent care when he's poisoned. Have a sense of urgency, make the opponent do silly things, be more aggressive, take more chances. Anything to get that poison off, I think should be Fang's game plan, rather than just, like you said, he needs to poison the opponent just because he does such little damage that he has to land it. It should be the other way around, where the opponent has to worry about it. So we'll give a couple bullet point examples here on what they can do to make that change. But anything Capcom does that does what we just said is fine. We're just giving some examples, because we can come up with a million different examples, right?
Yeah.
So the first one is when the opponent is now poisoned, it will amplify all of Fang's damage and stun of his special moves.
Yes.
So it'll be sort of like, it'll still poison the opponent, but it'll be kind of like a debuff. So when you hit an opponent that's poisoned, you'll do bonus damage afterwards. Yeah.
So that would basically reward Fang for keeping the poison up, right? Yeah. So like your successful conversions after poisoning an opponent are more rewarding, like more damaging, and that would solve part of the issue with Fang, which is his lack of damage.
Another thing they could do is the poison gets more intense as time goes on.
And that would complement his zoning playstyle. Yeah. Because it would be rewarded for keeping you out successfully, right? Because of course the poison would be dealing more damage then.
Yeah, they get more and more scary. Only there's another change. Only the V skill will actually poison the opponent.
Yeah. So That would make it extra threatening, right? Especially because it doesn't have hit stun or anything, and you cannot block it.
Yeah.
It would force the opponent to make silly mistakes, assuming that the poison gets, buffed as well. Because,
Strongly amplified, yes.
Yeah, as it is right now, it wouldn't be threatening enough.
That was an idea I had back in Season 1. I just think it would be really hilarious that this slow-moving V-skill that you can't use a projectile to stop it, it's just so scary and threatening. It would cause your opponent to do some really silly things, like jump, of course, right, to avoid it. It would also make Fang players focus more on trying to figure out setups to land that V-skill, and I think it'd be an interesting change to how the character's played. I mean, at the end of the day, once again, we want the opponent to actually fear the poison, and this will make V-Trigger 1 actually exist. It would actually have a benefit to poison the opponent at all times. Because it seems like Fang's always poison the opponent so easily anyways. It just doesn't last long. It doesn't do much damage in general.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So those are just some quick examples of what Capcom could do with the poison. I'd either make specific attacks poison, but make it more intense in general over time, V-skill. I mean, you guys can give me some examples of what you guys think they should do with his poison in the comments below. But I'm sure, like I said, any idea would work. Okay. Some back to some little changes on Fang in general. He's kind of a strange character in Mirror because he's a zoner, he's a charge character, and he also has to be kind of slippery because he wants to keep that poison for as long as possible and not get hit by the opponent. And it's kind of weird. You can see some restrictions to his mobility that Capcom did. They don't want Fang to just, command dash all over the screen where the opponent is helplessly poisoned, and other things like that. But I think that one thing a lot of Fang players like to do is they like to do the light punch fireball as they do a block string to kind of protect Fang and force the opponent to kind of press something. It's kind of like Colleen Mirror, when Colleen does like the icicle comes down and she tries to bait the opponent to press something and she'll convert after. Fang kind of does that. But one thing when I was planting clouds is Fang, I feel like it should, at least the EX version should stay on the ground if he gets hit.
So to basically to kind of like protect him just like the fireballs do.
Yeah, kind of like that. Just to keep him a little bit more safer. In general, I feel like it's pretty easy to get in on Fang, just because his fireballs are really slow because it's a charge character, in general. But it is Fang's fireball is pretty strong, I think, being at 2 hits and all. I think it's not bad as far as projectiles go. This one's a tricky one, Mir. His standing heavy kick. I was thinking about making this +2 on block rather than +1, but I think it would make it very abusable. I don't know if I'd want Fang to be played this way.
I feel like it's relatively fast right now.
Yeah.
So if you were to make it +2, it would have to be much slower. I feel like it's kind of like that kind of button that you would press when you know that the opponent has decided to block, and then you can use, especially because it's a forward advancing move, right?
Right.
Making it plus makes it, very dangerous because Fang can stick to you. So it would be that kind of button that you would kind of like, kind of like a charged button for other characters. It would be like the kind of button that you use when the opponent's blocking, and then you can continue your offense. But you should be able to get jabbed out of it or stuff like that.
Like, my beef with it is that right now, a standing heavy kick is +1 on block. Fang has no 3-framers. So if the opponent has a 3-framer and he mashes jab, there's absolutely nothing Fang can do about it except for mash super afterwards. If you press this jab, it'll trade. You can't throw them. If the opponent walks back, they'll be out of throw range. If they walk back, Fang doesn't have a good crouching light confirm. So it's just kind of helpless move that Fang kind of hopes the opponent doesn't know what he's doing. And he'll constantly abuse it. Pretty much right now. And V-Trigger 2, I would just like more setups in general. I mean, it's a step in the right direction, but it's still a pretty boring V-Trigger. It simply just amplifies the special moves. But there are some cool setups you can do. I'm just hoping Capcom could add more setups in general to... Fang has some cool left-right mix-ups with his Cloud, for example. I would like to see more setups for that. Because he just does such little damage, in general, You really do need to mix up with that character to finish off the round.
Yeah, I felt like Capcom wanted this character to be, I'm gonna say they were scared of this character being too strong in the damage department because he does have solid mix-ups. Since like every normal he has is so weird and he has awkward mobility with the command dash. You know, he can like cross you under and stuff. And he has the fireballs and whatnot. But what it ends up happening is that you just you have to guess so much more compared to your average character. You know, like even other low tier characters still have the damage to contend with the better characters, but Fang doesn't. So like you can open up your opponent 20 times and still not enough.
Yeah. But Fang does have some cool combos. I like the uniqueness of like his 2-hit attacks. When they counter hit, they still get a frame advantage from the counter hit state. And him being able to link his standing light punch into his standing heavy punch at max range is also pretty unique and cool about the character. It just doesn't really... That's not that much damage. As cool it is. So, after all these things we just asked for the wish list, at the end of the day, the poison is the most important factor, both for making him more viable, even though I do feel he is underrated, but also make him more fun and interesting as a character. So, hopefully this time, 4th time's the charm for Capcom. They really take a look at this character and realize that, hey, look, no one uses this character, and no one really ever has, and maybe we should rework this character somehow. I think that's important to really give every character at least one season to shine here. And that's it, guys. Like I said, it doesn't sound like too much for Fang, but the poison is really important. That will change everything else about the character. Let us know in the comments below how you guys feel about Fang right now as a character. Do you feel like he needs a lot of tuning, or is he underrated, and what would you guys do for the character? Do us a solid, guys. Please subscribe to the channel, and of course like the video. It really helps out, and me and Mir will get to more characters until Season 4 finally rolls out. So till then, guys, take care.